Good afternoon. It is 3 o'clock and it's 3:02. I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. Matthew, can we have a roll call, please?
Gallagher.
Present.
Callaghan.
Present.
Jacoby. Present. Scarborough.
Present.
Olson.
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum for the Finance Committee. Our first order of business is to look at the budget for 2026. This is the first time that we've propagated it to all of the board. Matthew's been working on it over the past 2 or so months with the department heads, and we've got a really good basis. There's some information that's on our desk about what a budget requires. The budget is not just the numbers on the sheet for 2026. There are 5 things that are required for the budget. These things will be prepared for the full review of the board when we go to actually pass it. We are only looking at a couple of pieces of the budget today. So the first one is a budget message. This is a narrative. It is a summary that kind of goes point by point and discusses what's changed about the 2026 budget and what the main features and allocations are. That will take time from Matthew to get that written up and provided. So that is not available for us right now. Part number 2. This is estimated revenues to be received from all sources for the budget year, with a comparative statement of actual or estimated revenues for the 2 years next preceding, itemized by year, fund source. So what that means is on page 1, you have a list of all of your anticipated revenues broken out by department and by fund on some of the other pages. So sewer fund has its own income, street has its own income, courts has like 3 or 4. There's a couple of them. So yes, that is present with the prior 2 years as well. I think we even went above and beyond the 3 years. So that is a part of it. And then the next part is the proposed expenditures in the same fashion. So anything past page 1 is your expenses. Cool. Number 4, the amount required for the payment of interest, amortization, and redemption charges on debt. So there will be a sheet that talks about the debt of the city. There's one item on it. It's not in your packet. It's the fire station. We have a mortgage on that. We owe over $1 million essentially. And so that will have a breakout of how much is remaining, how much we're paying for the year, stuff like that. And then number 5 is a general budget summary, which is different than the budget message. So all of those pieces will be discussed and shown when we go to finally sign it. But what we're here today to do is to look at the numbers, look at income, look at what our expenses are, look at line item. If you want to go line item, we're going to go department by department, hear from the department heads about what they want to do, what they want to accomplish in the year of 2026, and make sure the numbers support what we need to be able to do to provide services to the citizens. Any questions before we get started? Cool, let's do this. So if you look at the large piece, the large packet that you've got, on the revenue side, this is almost entirely driven by calculations that Matthew's performed based on the prior year's budgets and our performance against those budgets so far in this year. What does that mean? We know how much money we've received per month in each of these income line items. He's projected to the end of the year, but not a straight projection. It's easy to just draw a line on a graph, but if we're projecting for next year, our current year's performance is an indicator, but it's not a guarantee. So what Matthew's done is he's projected if our current rate continues into the next year, but dropped it by 10%-ish, 5 to 10%, just to kind of hedge that number down a little bit so that we're not expecting the moon and then coming up short and being like, we didn't get all the money we expected. So it's a way to help make sure that we are anticipating our income more realistically than being, blue skies. So a lot of the numbers didn't change, but there's some that I'd like to draw our attention to. Sales tax. We have projected a general increase over the last 3 years from 800,000 to 923 to 921. Our current one was at 875,000. Our 26 budget shows 1 million. Okay, so there is a sheet of paper that shows our interest or our income for sales tax so far. So far in 2025, it's the one that says City of Pleasant Valley taxes received.
This is probably one of the new sheets that was in front of you. It wasn't part of your packet.
Oh, taxes received. No? Yeah. Okay.
Yep. So what this is some of the calculations that Matthew performed in order to help us do those projections. Sales tax through October 9th, 25 equals $875,000. So we have roughly 2 more months through the year. His projection is 1,050,000. We could hit that, we could not. This forms the basis for that income. He dropped it to the closest round number being 1 million, and that's our basis for the next year. Any questions about that? Okay. Use tax. So this is another one of those large income revenue sources. Our use tax is going from 557,000 in this year's budget to 700,000, so an increase of about 150. So if you look at use tax, we are projected to hit 755,000 by the end of the year. And we have accomplished 630,000 essentially. And as you move down, you will find that some of these taxes line up with the taxes received sheets. Some of them are not taxes, some of them are fines, some of them are court costs, and some other miscellaneous income that we receive. I heard that there might be some discussion on the income level. Is that something you want to talk about right now?
Sure.
Cool.
So on the LET, the Law Enforcement Training Fund, right now, that one is at 1992 as of September. So I think the projection for this year is fine, but next year that's probably 600 to 700 too low.
Okay, we can adjust that up.
And then post and JDF, they're the same amount. They're $1 per court cost, so they'll always match. And right now we have $996 in the post and the JDF for the year up to September. And you're projecting 1,000 at the end of the year, so it's probably 300 short. And then like JDF, you don't see because it just stays in my base account and it keeps rolling, but it's always gonna match post.
So which ones match? What you using the account numbers?
4995 and 4998.
Okay, so those need to match. And what is the target number? What's your recommendation?
So as of September, we were at $996 in the post in the JEF for the year.
So would 1,000 be a reasonable number there?
We put about 100 in there every month, it looks like.
Okay.
So make it go to 400.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay.
Recruit is the same. I would say it's the same as what he put, and the CDC is the same. I mean, ideally, we'd like to get more on recruitment, but if we don't, we can't get the money back for recruitment if we don't take a guilty plea. If we amend it, we can't get the recruitment.
Do you know where we have typically coded restitution? Gotten a couple of restitution checks in the last month that I have not received before, so.
It depends on I mean, if it was like a stop sign, you put it there. If that was the original
Charge?
charge, yeah. So I'd have to look at this specifically.
The restitution that you've been getting is from damage to our police car.
So that would go straight towards
General, I don't know.
general, yeah,
Wherever he took out the money originally to fix the car.
For repairs and maintenance
If
on-
it had to be repaired, then it would go back to your budget under repairs.
Technically.
Okay,
But it wouldn't-
Auditors up to the code.
No.
really?
I can make a note to tell you where it goes moving forward.
Jared, did you have something?
Yeah, the police grants, the 4834. We are going to expend all of that Blue Shield grant money probably next year. So that's about $46,000. So that'll be on our expense side as well, but we'll also be bringing in that income.
Okay,
So
so that 4834 needs to be the 8,000 plus 49.
yeah, we probably need to bump that up a couple more thousand because we got an overtime grant as well.
So
So-
50,000?
So, I'd probably do 60.
60.
I'm gonna do a little high. Let's do
49 plus 8, you're already really, you're only like $2,000 off.
Because the Blue Shield grant's about 45,000, and then we got, I think it's $7,000 overtime grant.
So Blue Shield plus the 8,000 already brings you up to 53,000. And then you just mentioned 7,000 for overtime. That brings you right up to 60. Okay. Is that a number you're comfortable with?
I'd probably lower it. Let's do 55.
55.
And it'll be the same on the expense side.
And then on the expense side, you'll have to add that. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing with grants. I mean, it pads the income, but then you have an equal expense on
Yeah,
that.
not gonna change bottom line, but
Cool. Any other questions or issues on the general fund income?
Whenever you want me to, I can go through the things that I passed out. Some of it, it's none of it's general fund.
Okay. We can come back around to that one then, okay? Cool. The last feature that I wanted to point out is encumbered carry forward. This is such a misunderstood line item. What encumbered carry forward means is if our expenses exceed our income, we add money to that encumbered carry forward, which represents funds that we have in savings currently at the beginning of 2026. Yes.
Sorry, I didn't look at my fines and court costs on there. They're high. They look like they're including a lot of the separated out grants. Because I show fines as of September, just fines by themselves at 103,000. And court costs at 11.
I'm sorry, are you looking at the expense side or are you still?
Sorry, I'm back on revenue.
Yeah, what line item?
4804 for fines,
Oh, okay.
so 103 plus maybe 12, 3 more times. So 130, 140,
You wanna drop 20,000 off that to 140?
and
Okay.
then court costs. $14.
Okay. Anything else on the income side?
No.
Okay, and just for, so we're all on the same page, this is the first time that we've met with the income side filled in. So all the discussions with department heads to this point has been on the expense side. So some of these numbers that are the wheelhouse, the bread and butter of our department heads, we're getting initial feedback on some of this right now. So thank you for bearing with us. We'll get these numbers updated and roll back into the actual budget. Okay. Going back to that encumbered carried forward, it has always been a positive number for the last several years for all the budgets that I've seen. And this budget being the way that it is with $0 on encumbered carried forward is an accomplishment. It's acknowledging that the income of the city is increasing and our expenses are managed well. And that those are both good things. Okay. There's also some dispatching sales tax stuff at the bottom of that. All of that gets rolled up into general. So our total general fund revenues, if you look on page 2, is projected to be $3,055,000. We will not have that transfer out. That was ended in 25, so 26 will not see that. And then we start hitting the general fund expenses. So administration, there are a couple of items on here that I just wanted to point out. First of all, 6360 employee appreciation. We have a positive dollar amount in that budget line item, and that is to fund a party for all of the employees of the city towards the end of the year. And as a show of appreciation, I think it's a really good thing for our employees to see a tangible thing for appreciation. So I asked for it to be included. It's in this budget. If there's any discussion about it, you can have it. Yeah.
Okay, this is for an end of the year party specifically is what we're looking at? Or was this?
Matthew, was this one?
Yeah, the idea of it was for an event, but it's moving forward depending on the way those funds are spent. Maybe we could do additional things in the employee appreciation vein.
Okay.
That was really meant for what we can call an end of year party. Yes.
Okay, that was my question is I want to make sure that if we budget it, we have some type of tangible idea moving forward of how we're going to use that budgeted money rather than it's in the budget and then we don't end up actually doing anything with it. So that's something we can discuss in future board meetings, is just how we want that money spent. But so that would be for end of year next year that this budgeted amount would be for.
Yep. One other item on here is salaries, 6,900. So our staffing level with administration is, I don't want to put words in your mouth, Matthew. It's adequate, right? Okay. And so the salaries calculation is the staffing level that we currently have without making changes to it, which should come in significantly below this year's because of the reduction in headcount there. Anything else you wanted to point out on administration expenses, Matthew?
No, like I said, that's the one I spent the most time on personally on the expense side, and I feel pretty good about the numbers. I think you pointed out that the one that was new and two, the biggest change year to year was in that salary line. So I didn't have anything else unless there were questions.
Does this include the projected amount for if we go forward with that new, is it phone service? Or IT
MSP
service?
and phone service, yes.
So with the budgeted amount, I don't know which line item that would be, but was it budgeted as if we would be using that new service?
It is not.
Okay, so in theory, this would even get lower on the expense side.
That's, I was gonna say that's true for the IT as well. I think not being sure what the board was gonna do, I think we'll see IT and phone expense be less than what is currently, but if this were the final budget, I think IT and phone would both be likely less.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
One interesting thing about a lot of that is some of those expenses are split up between all the departments. So you will see reductions across all of the departments on voice and I think IT support as well. But there is the computer admin slated at 60,000. That is probably the line item that's going to drop. Is it computer admin?
Yes, but you'll notice on there, there's a line for computer admin, there's computer hardware, computer software. There's a number of different accounts, all of which would potentially be affected.
Okay.
Because we were looking at a pretty big decrease, right? I mean, I don't remember what the percentages were, but
About 50%.
that's what I was remembering, so.
Going from about 125,000 a year in IT support to about $47,000 a year.
Okay.
And then on the voice side, 50% as well, going from 9,500. I'm sorry,
Well,
950 per month, down to about 475 or something.
Great.
Cool. Moving on to fire. Is there any features of this budget that you wanted to bring to anybody's attention, Chief?
I'm sure there is.
Okay.
I don't have a copy of your latest numbers. I don't know if you've updated what we talked about before. So with fire equipment maintenance,
Chief,
do you
do you mind?
put up there?
Yeah, if I have to listen to this back on my computer,
Okay.
understand.
So I'm moving down to fire department maintenance. Do you have it at 4,000 to 4,500? Am I saying that that was
4,500.
That is what that was what we spent in 2025. I like that consistent. That includes our a big portion of that is the SCBA maintenance and certification costs.
Yeah. So the budget that we have shows 4,500 for fire equipment maintenance.
Okay, good. The only other thing I would say, if I move back up to the top, was that that's a line item that had been added as furniture and appliances. For instance, we had to purchase a new washing machine, which was $700. If the refrigerator goes down, it's going to be obviously more than that.
And we are down the refrigerator too, right?
We are down, but we're fine.
We're fine with one.
Yeah, I don't want to replace that one anyway, so we'll just do it one less. But at least make that 1,000. $500 not going to be it. We're also, I know the deal we got on the mattresses that were $100 a piece, well, people aren't too happy with them, so there might be.
Where's the mattress? It's almost pretty mattress.
And actually, that is it for fire right now.
The one question I've got on recruiting expenses, you marked 0 down for this year, where I think your current budget has 2,000. You're not anticipating any recruitment expenses for 26?
No, they're split between EMS and fire, so I think we move those over to the EMS side. So we just trying to eliminate some of the double. We're basically one department that's split into 2 different categories. So the things that we combined.
Okay,
So
cool.
we actually have recruiting expenses. Is EMS next to it? Let's start on the EMS.
Yeah, this is.
While I'm here.
Does anyone have any questions on the fire side real quick? Okay, cool. Go ahead, EMS.
Okay. The first question I would have is on computer software. Do you have it at 12.5? Okay, let's update it. EMS equipment maintenance at 1,500.
No, 4,500.
Oh, I'm sorry.
EMS equipment's 1,500, equipment maintenance is 45.
Okay, perfect. Yep. And then, I don't know if, the next question I have is about, let me do that last. The last one I have is tuition reimbursement at 6125, is that updated? Okay.
Yeah.
The last question I would have is on salaries. Did you give them that proposed change?
Yeah, that is included.
It is included. Okay. And then, so what was that number?
354,000.
And then just to reiterate on this, just to make sure it's clear, the incentive and overtime pay at 50,000, realize that, that part of that was the weekend incentive pay for the summertime to get people to come on the weekends. Well, that money includes that whole day. It's not just a half of the time and a half. It's that basically we shoved that
We
whole
changed out
Saturday
salary,
and put it in
yeah.
incentive pay when that portion is not real actually incentive pay. It's actually more like a third of that. So just so you know that.
Yep.
I think that's all I got.
Does anyone have any questions for Chief Knudsen? Cool, thank you, Chief. Chief McGinley? Is there any features of this that you want to talk about?
Let's do 6380, the recruiting expense. I'd like to bump that up to 5,000. That is just to fund, hopefully, those two people that we're gonna have the academy starting in January. I did find out that the scholarship can be obtained by both of them. So most of the cost of the academy will be paid for with that new scholarship. There's just a little leftover that we might have to add to that. So that's why I'd like to bump that up to 5,000 instead of 3. And then that 6478, that's the one we wanted to bump up to, what was it, 55,000 for the Blue Shield grant and highway safety grants. I know this is very minute, but one of our memberships did bump up $25, so 6628 just to go to 750 instead of 725. And then the biggest jump that you saw obviously was the 6,900, which is the salaries. Excuse me, which is adding officers. So that's why there's such a big jump. I think that's it.
So the two officers that are in the recruitment cycle right now, they won't hit the street for like another year, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So they would start in January. Finally got a call back from the academy. They would graduate early May, and then you're looking at 4 to 6 months minimum probably for FTO training.
It does, if current staffing doesn't change and those two additions get added, does that bring you to full staff?
Say that again.
So if you don't have any resignations and the two people do hit the street as they're expected to, does that bring you to full staffing
We're
level?
still too short.
Still too short?
We would have 8 or a lot of 10. Generally.
But this budget is for, you're still only
This
budgeting
is
for
for
8.
8.
Okay, with the expectation that you likely wouldn't end up with 10.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Okay.
Communications.
Yeah, go ahead, Matthew.
The scholarships you're talking about for your two new recruits, is that, are you just assuming they're gonna get that scholarship, or they have that scholarship?
It's pretty much guaranteed. If they said even if they didn't apply when they came and applied for the academy to get enrolled there, they would make them apply for it. So it's pretty much guaranteed.
So basically, anybody they tell to apply, fill the paperwork out, gets it.
Yep.
Well, that's cool.
There's a fund set aside by the state for that
Good.
to help with recruiting.
Fantastic, let's use state money.
Yeah. It's all the state money.
A question, so fire and EMS, there is the tuition reimbursement that is separate from recruiting expenses. Police, why do we not have separate line items? Is it just because we haven't thought of doing it that way?
Well, yeah, we've never really done it.
Okay. Would it be possible to add a fund for tuition reimbursement? It's essentially tuition reimbursement, and it's structured in a lot the same way as the fire department one is.
Yeah.
Sign a 3-year contract, you get reimbursed. You get reimbursed all at once rather than, I mean, the details are different because the city pays the tuition out upfront, whereas fire, the student, the employee pays it and then they get reimbursed over time. Yeah, I mean, details are different, but at the end of the day, it's still tuition. I wouldn't call it reimbursement though, but I don't know, what are your thoughts? Or just tuition expense,
Yeah.
Yeah.
just call it a tuition expense, yeah.
If we created a tuition expense line, would you still want something in that recruiting fund?
Yeah, so we go to, hiring,
Trade shows
yeah,
and career fests and stuff like that.
if we don't bring anything like bling or anything to hand out, we're free in contest. So obviously we don't spend $3,000 for it.
But your
it's
firm
also-
handshakes don't go that far?
No, no, but that line item also includes, polygraph, site test, and all the testing, pre-employment testing.
Okay.
That is included in that line item.
Okay.
So if we were to split it into two, what would that look like?
Probably the 3,000 for the recruiting expenses and probably 2,000 for the tuition.
Tuition expense, yeah. Okay. Perfect. Any other questions on police side? We're ready to move on to communications. Okay, go for it, Chief.
I really don't have a lot of communications. The only thing I had was, we probably want to look at the numbers for the salary. My numbers are, I recalculated for some reason. And it's about 15,000 more than the 315,004. But we can look at that together and figure out which is best.
Is that just from the number of people, the type of employment?
Yeah, and I
Full-time,
broke it
part-time?
down as, you know, they're at one step for 6 months, and
Oh, okay.
they bump up, so I changed the monies, and it was a little higher. But we can look at that and
Okay. Yeah.
make sure I'm accurate.
Okay.
And yeah, that was all I had.
Okay, cool. Any other questions for Chief McGinley?
Did we want to go over the take-home policy?
Yeah, we'll do that
We'll do it later.
after the budget. Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect, thank you. Miss Sarah?
I mean, I don't have a ton other than on 7064, the judge has opted to not go to the May conference because his appointment will be done in July, so he doesn't feel he needs to use the city's money to go to a conference when he will be retiring in that July period.
Okay.
How much is that? Would you just-
So I would say drop it to 1,000. I usually go to one conference a year. I didn't go to any this year because the training wasn't relevant. He's wasting my time and money.
Question on your judicial malpractice insurance that dropped to 0. Was that intentional?
No.
6512.
The fact that is blank and it doesn't obviously have a zero, I think I had a question about that and didn't give it, so.
Okay. It will be a
It's
non-zero.
not intentional.
I
We
would've
should
asked
have
that.
insurance.
That's what I thought, but
Good catch.
okay, cool. Cool. Does anyone have any other questions for Sarah? Cool, thank you. Mr. Chris?
So,
The supplemental sheet that I passed out at the beginning of the meeting is mainly just some of the things that stood out as, that were just a little concerning. So the snow and ice deal, every year it goes up. It is what it is. It's a material. Everybody's gigging prices on dirt, gravel, everything. But so obviously this is driven by Mother Nature. None of us can predict what's going to happen. But the scary thing is, 2 years ago, Liberty and Gladstone ran out of material, and the quarries weren't keeping up with material. So material was non-existent.
Yeah. If you didn't have a reserve.
I fortunately had a full bin.
Yeah.
So that was awesome, because you could just imagine what's going to happen if we're out of material and the roads are ice. The complaints that are going to come. So this year it's $83.70 per ton. I normally order 2 to 4 of those at a time, and that's 36 ton at a cost of $3,013.20. And 4 of those would be $6,020. It's you get gouged on the delivery fee. One storm of say 2 to 4 inches, we'll use 2 to 4 of those. If you get a snowstorm that's 10 inches, and it also, its duration too.
Sure.
So procedure is the officer on call, driving the roads, contacts dispatch and said, hey, the roads are getting slick. Dispatch calls them. And obviously that could be at any time. It could be, 2, 4 in the morning. So you got to come in and get those roads passable, preferably before rush hour.
So 10,000 is your budget for 25. Is 10,000 a good number for that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
we'll adjust it to 10.
yeah. So that's awesome. So also, road and street committee.
Yeah.
If I'm getting to where I might exceed that 10,000, they'll kick in.
Okay.
So yeah, that's awesome. So that was concerning. So training. So you guys came at me and wanted Josh to go for residential buildings. So we operate now under 2012, which is kind of old.
Yeah.
Gladstone just went from 2012 to 2021. And Liberty did the same. So when I came here, we were on 1994 codes, which was like, you're riding a dinosaur to do the inspection.
Are we planning on updating to a newer standard this upcoming year?
2012 is pretty old.
Yeah.
I think it might be a good idea. And
I think we need to go to a minimum of 21.
Yeah.
21.
So, but you'll get contacted by contractors griping about it because the codes are more restrictive.
Yeah, they're more restrictive because of safety and building
Right,
materials. Like there's a lot of reasons
and
for that.
ISO numbers.
Yeah.
So the closer the codes are to the current year,
Yeah.
cost the contractors more money.
Well, in all reality, there's not that much building going to happen in the city.
That was going to be my next
So
statement.
we're landlocked.
We're landlocked.
I'd say go to 2021 and we'll field the calls and we'll tell them tough shit if they don't like it.
So you have to, so that's a big procedure. I have to get either online or a book showing the codes, and you have to go through it.
Is this something that you can prepare a proposal to get us up to 2021 code?
Yeah.
Because it's a city ordinance, like it's all ordinance based, so.
So you
there's
want
probably gonna be some legal expenses. Can you help us estimate what those costs would be for going to 21 in the year of 26?
Yeah, so on here,
But it's not just the inspector service, it's also legal and other pieces.
Right, yeah.
Right?
Legal.
So because it's ordinance based, we have to go update our city ordinances to ixnay the old version, implement the new version, right?
Yeah.
That probably needs to be ran past our legal team, and it's probably not just gonna be a 30-minute review of the ordinances and stuff, right?
so you have to go through. And so, okay, so in 2009.
Yeah.
They came out with sprinkler systems in all residential homes.
So, I'm sorry, are you saying that it's a bad idea to go to 21?
No, but
Okay.
I would have to read through the requirements, from 2012 to 2021. They meet every year and they come up with these guidelines for inspections. And it's usually like, usually a company contacted ICC and wanting to sell their fire blocking foam. And guys, they would go before a panel of building inspectors and master building inspectors.
Yeah.
They would say, hey, you guys need to approve this and put it into the codes, because this stuff is awesome and it'll stop a house from burning down.
So all I'm looking for is, it sounds like the budget numbers need to change on the expense side. I think the board is asking for, I'm asking for, I'm not gonna speak for the board. I'm asking for a better a guesstimate of how much all of that research, all of the implementation is going to cost, in addition to training, recertification.
Yeah.
Maybe even our city property, whether it meets the 21 code. Like, there's multiple pieces of this. I'm looking for a better holistic picture of what that cost would be, so we can bake it into this budget. Okay.
So if you guys are wanting Josh to be certified for the residential building inspector, that total cost would be around, say, $3,800.
Okay. Is that reflected in your current budget, or do we need? Okay, let's get that.
No, because it would go under training, and actually it was recommended to cut the training $500 from $1,000.
Hang on, where do you see that?
7060.
Yeah, training.
Okay.
1,500.
So if I understand this right, to get you certified on a new plan and upgrade and get Josh certified on that new plan, you're looking at a $7,500 training.
That's not even the new plan. That's just, he thinks they need that much just for commercial building inspector certification.
But I would.
Then the next line says, to update it, it'll be an additional.
Well, that's the cost of the books.
Books,
That's the code book. I would think the training would be the same
For each of them.
for each year. So whether we got Josh certified on 2012 or 2021, it should be the $3,730.
Yes.
So.
And then you times that by 2, you've got 7,460.
So we should be able for $7,500 for training, have both of them certified. If either certify Josh and recertify you on the new one,
Yeah.
and we should be able to accomplish that all at once. And then the cost of the books,
And then
I don't know that that would go in the training line item. That would be more.
it's wherever you want to put it. But so the book thing is, our ordinance states currently that you have to have a set of books as a library to somebody that's going to do a project up at City Hall. And then administration is supposed to have a set of books, public works. So that's the 3.
Is that normal?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Um,
I mean, when you preface that with our city ordinances says, I'm just trying to make sure that that's reasonable.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if we combine both of those and put them under training, under public works, the 7,552. Do that. So the 12
Well, the 52, I don't think would be training, but that's a materials thing. That's
Yeah, what other
maybe supplies.
tools? Is a tool to do that job.
I don't know. It's what I'm asking for is all of this stuff that's related to certification, code updating, any other related costs to that. Let's get those numbers into the budget. Can you work with Matthew on getting those expense items updated?
Yeah.
Perfect.
So then crack sealing, it's been a couple of years since we've done crack sealing.
And is that on just regular streets in the city, or is that on parking lots and
No, that would be regular.
regular streets? Okay.
High Ridge needs it pretty bad. And likewise, North Elm, North Brookside. But they wouldn't have to necessarily be done in 2026.
Yeah.
They could be pieced.
So when we look at crack sealing, I feel like that's a very similar conversation as how many linear feet of sidewalk repairs do we want to do per year? How many linear feet of sewer pipe do we want to scope?
Yeah.
Like break the city up into sections and
Yeah.
then determine the needs per year on that section and say, hey, our friend. So can we do the same thing on that one as?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
And then the vehicle maintenance,
Mhm.
we talked about not purchasing a backhoe at 120,000. There was 80,000 capital purchases for the purchase of the backhoe. But the backhoe needs brakes, needs a throttle plates serviced, and the air conditioning's out in it. The air conditioning isn't. It's not necessarily just a luxury item.
No, I don't need you guys passing out inside of our heavy equipment.
Yeah, I've had heated exhaustion over the years twice.
Yeah, no, that's.
Running the backhoe.
So does that expense get added to 6110 vehicle repair?
That's where we go.
Yes.
Okay, let's get vehicle repair updated. Can you work with Matthew on that?
Or vehicle maintenance. We'll look at it and decide.
Well, I feel maintenance is more PM stuff, like preventative maintenance. Hey, we're gonna do our annual oil change. We're gonna rotate the tires. Repair of an HVAC system on it or something, or a broken struts or whatever, like
Yeah.
that feels like repairs.
And so he's got on his paper, he's got 10,000 listed there that he'd like to see it at for that.
Yeah.
And then the last thing was just me showing plus or minuses on how things work.
Yeah. Couple of cuts. Yeah. Thank you for doing that.
And I think that's good. I think I'm okay with those things. Just stood out, and freaked me out.
No, yeah, let's have a, like, That's what we're here to do, is hear your
And like,
concerns out.
and jumping back to snow and ice, if I purchase those loads of salt, it may cover the year, it may not. We, in 2022 and 2023, we used, one of those years, we salted one time.
Mhm.
And the other, I don't know that we salted once. So, you know, but you could get slammed and spend,
That was probably part of my rationale for dropping it, was it in trends.
yeah.
You said there's still money in there for the 25?
Yeah, I'm gonna use it
Okay.
to,
Because we're low currently and we're
Yeah.
walking into winter.
yeah, and we went into 2022 stacked. We were loaded because we hadn't used any. So we didn't have to buy it. All right,
Any other questions for Chris?
thanks.
Yeah.
I would imagine that the books would be under supplies for training,
Supplies, okay.
because you have to have books when you're training people usually.
But this doesn't feel like training. This is like reference material. we aren't training.
But they have to study those. That's the thing, because they won't remember if they just read it once.
Yeah, I'm good with whatever account it goes into, as long as it fits the
Any,
fits type.
as we review this again, everything I change will maybe come in.
Color and have a
Yeah,
yellow.
highlighted.
Yeah. Yep, good deal. Right.
Okay, the last thing I wanted to point out on page 11, sorry, not page 11, page 10, very top. So what this is it looks at the revenue from page 1 and compares it to the cumulative expense line items. And so as of right now, without any of the changes that we've talked about, because this number is definitely going to change, our revenue a little over 3 million, our expenses slated to be 2.8 million. What that yields is our revenue is greater than our expense, to the tune of about $212,000. And so that being a difference there means that our encumbered carry forward is 0. As we approach 0 on that and then exceed it, then our encumbered carry forward would be a non-zero number. But crossing that threshold isn't a concern either. So I just want to point that out. That covers all of this stuff. Take the time to read through the rest of it. There are other good points on the other expenses with road and streets and sewer and stuff like that. So that's it on that. Any questions on revenue and income?
Can we go with the rental?
Yeah. I was going to go over capital improvements and health insurance, and I think that's about it for that impacts you. So you can absolutely leave if you want.
I have to drive over in the dark at 4 o'clock.
Have a good trip.
I would love to, but I've got
See ya.
a lot of it.
Okay, cool. Health insurance. So earlier this year, we made a change in the allocations made from the city perspective, city contributions, with the goal of reviewing the numbers at mid-year to see what the trends are, and with the goal of evaluating whether we can make that next step to 100% for the employee and 85% for employee plus family on the HSA applicable plan. So these are the numbers. There were a lot of other features and facets to health insurance costs, probably with staffing, different changes and different selections that people made on their health insurance open enrollment elections. Our cost through the month of June, fairly consistently, $10,334. June, we made the July. Was it July or June that we made the change?
July 1st.
July 1st, our expenses, even with an increase in switching from percentage-based to percentage-based across the board to percentage-based, and increasing that percentage for HSA eligible accounts, it took our expenses to 7,879. And then it's dropped and went up as staffing levels changed over the last couple of months. Based on these numbers, I don't see a reason to not move forward with the phase 2 of 100% for employee HSA eligible plans and 85% for family.
85 or 75?
Our proposal was 85, I believe.
It says 75 on this.
If I would be great, but I did this at 100%.
Didn't we talk 85 though? My memory might be shot.
I did run it again for 85, this is 75 is reflected in these numbers.
Because I thought we were going from 65 to 75.
Did we go from 50 to
65.
50 to 65 and then 65 to 75? I was trying to do that addition of 15% instead of like a 10.
I mean, 85 is fine if you want to.
But for some reason, that number just stuck in my head.
Run them, these are at 75,
Yes.
run them at 85, and let's look at them. and see.
I have another whole side issue. I mean, I think about insurance.
Yeah.
Have you heard in the last month or whatever, North Penn City Hospital won't take United Healthcare. They are on, all of this is on United Healthcare. I don't know what we can do about it.
North Penn City dropped the insurance.
They're accepting Humana
Well,
only for Medicare.
well, for Medicare, but for standard insurance, I don't know if they're dropping United Healthcare. I know they are for the Advantage plans.
Maybe I heard it.
So
I don't know.
we-
It's just something to
Yeah.
look at. It's
is that-
scary if we're giving
Yeah,
them
might get
insurance they can't
clarification,
use.
but because with the Medicare Advantage, which none of our people, employees are on that, I don't think.
I don't
Wait.
know.
Yeah.
But I am on that INO because of my situations. You see where this is favoring 2,500, yet still my.
The I know will still benefit because the amount that's paid for the family plan and the employee only plan, that when you start looking at INO, it raises the bar to that
Yeah,
that level.
so what it is, it's a percentage based off of the, based off of this plan, the HSA plan, but it makes it so that it's a flat amount paid to all the plans. We just figured the number based off of, so it'll still increase all the plans. The percentage is just based off of the one plan.
Yeah, because my insurance cost quadrupled when you made the change. Didn't help me at all.
Yeah, because of the way that it, so what they did, I say they, I guess we, but I wasn't here when all the changes were made, so I don't want to sign my name to it fully, but what ended up happening was, instead of being a percentage was covered flat across the different plans, it's now just a flat amount covered. So like if 50% used to be, I don't know, $500 was covered, so then instead of being 50%, it was just $500 is covered. And since your plan is significantly more expensive, or that particular plan is significantly more expensive, instead of 50% of it being covered, now just $500 of it are covered. So that's why it really screwed over everyone who was on the low deductible plan, high premium plan.
Yeah, I know. And
Yeah.
then, because if I went to, I had no problem changing, considering changing to the 2,500 plan, but one of my medicines was gonna be,
Yeah.
instead of like $40, it was gonna be 1,400.
Yeah.
That's that Montero.
Yeah. And that was the main problem, is that the as you said, it's called INO plan, is specifically meant for people who have underlying health issues, compared to the other one is more for people who don't necessarily have a lot of underlying health issues, are kind of betting on not needing the care as much. And so you pay a little bit less, but then your deductible is much higher if you do have something
Yeah.
happen.
Well, and I know it's not all about me,
But I agree,
But then this thing, the sugar reader deal was on the 2,500, it's gonna be 457.
Yeah.
So the two, just the two things, for me, it was gonna be a little over 1,600.
Yeah. And that's something that I would like to discuss, is that if we're looking at changing this plan, that was my main concern when we looked at the change in the health insurance, is that it feels like if somebody has to be on an I&O plan, because that's, you know, their own unique health conditions, they're getting basically like punished for it. It's really, really hard.
Yeah.
And there's several people that need to be on a plan like that. So I would love it if we could look at a way to shift it a little bit, so that way coverage isn't so one-sided and anyone on the I&O plan ends up paying. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate that. I know my genetics are the city's fault.
Yeah, but it's, in general, we offer the plan. I want to make sure that people feel that they, if that's the plan that is right for them, they're not being punished for it. I think that's fair. The vast majority of our employees are on the other plan, which is ultimately why the shift was made.
Can we look at the numbers for just doing a percentage, the 100% for both plans?
That's what I would like to see, if we
See
can make
what
it percentage based.
Look at that.
Across the board.
expense, how the expense comes up.
Okay,
The only,
Matthew, I can work with you and we can
the only,
game plan a couple of,
I don't know if actually that makes sense, because the only concern is that, so we would be paying the amount of whichever plan the employee goes on. And if we're paying 100% of it, there'd be no reason for every employee to not just switch to a low deductible plan, high premium plan, because it doesn't cost them anything.
so.
If we're paying 100% of it, then, and then now your deductible is way lower, and if your premium's higher, doesn't matter, because the city pays for it, you're not paying the increase. So there does have to be
Yeah.
some incentive to go with a lower premium plan.
But maybe the percentages don't have to match across I&O and the high deductible plan.
Yeah.
So I think I've got a good idea. I hear the concerns, and I would like to game plan a couple of expense projections with Matthew, and then I'll get that in Drew guys' board packets, okay?
Perfect.
So, little off subject, not really, but I'm just proud of it, so I'd like to share a quick little story. I'm off insulin and I'm off statins due to my exercise and diet changes. I went 4 months ago. I had my heart doctor tell me that within 3 to 4 months I would be on dialysis, which would be a no work thing.
Hey, Chris, I just want to make sure, I mean, you were talking about your protected health information. You can absolutely do that. It's an open meeting that's being live streamed. I wanted to make sure that we're not going to comment on it.
No, and that's fine.
You can talk about it if you want.
Yeah. So anyway, I very recently went to that same heart doctor, and when they ran my kidney numbers darting me towards dialysis for 4.2. When I went very recently, they were 2.3, and she said she has never had a patient in her career that has shown that amount of improvement. Because when I was freaking out about going on dialysis, and I asked her, "Can your numbers get better from you changing my diet and numbers?" She said, "No, but I have," and she was blown away by it. So, and I was like, it's awesome.
Cool, yeah, no,
Yeah,
absolutely. Okay, thanks for talking that. Let's look at capital purchases real quick. First of all, the capital purchases schedule. So you should have 2 pieces of paper on your desk. One that was included in the packet, one that was given to you. Yes. So the new one is the one that at the bottom for the balance, it says 902,000. The old one says 1.2 billion.
That-
Um,
You said
It's-
the new one is the one that was on our desk.
Yes, the new one is one that was on your desk.
Mine's digital, mine's easy.
Yes.
Oh my God, and mine's digital, so mine's easy to know that it's.
It's the capital first.
Capital purchases scheduled for 2026. Probably not be hitting that.
The department probably do not have an updated one, I just printed that. You may not have, if yours. You have the old one.
Yeah, this was on the best.
The reason for that is we accounted for the ambulance purchase. So we just went ahead and brought the balance down because we know it's gonna, somebody's gonna cash the check.
Great if they did.
If we if they
I can't imagine them not, but sure.
They just consider it a
Yeah,
gift.
paid it.
Okay, so there's a couple of things on here that we are looking at. So capital purchases is intended to be, we can account for large purchases ahead of time by contributing to this account and having that money earmarked for assets that will last a decent amount of time. So think vehicles, think buildings, think the computers, radios, EMS equipment, like cardiac monitors, things like that. So a couple of things on here. Capital improvements. Admin, we have some servers and city computers. We still have a need for getting our computers upgraded to Windows 11 compliant and compatible devices. We're hoping to get that started with our new MSP here pretty soon. Police, did you have any topics to talk about? I noticed that there's 2 items on here: upgraded doors, keypads, time clock system. Is
Yeah,
that something you want to talk about? You
actually,
mind coming up to
we-
the microphone, sir?
yeah, we can talk about all of them.
Thank you.
Actually, I'm going to get with Matthew, we can wipe out those 2 cars, even if we don't go with the fleet
I know, I
replacement.
left them there as a worst case
Yeah.
scenario because we had made it.
I don't think we'll need it either way.
Okay.
So there's $120,000 savings.
Excuse me.
Radio replacement. We can probably knock that down to 1. Even if we don't buy any new cars, I think we can still use 1. There's actually 1 car out there, the white one, that we were planning on selling, so I ripped everything out. So it doesn't have a radio. And that still gets used.
Yeah.
The tasers, we're still want. The upgraded door keypads, Matthew and I have talked about this, and this was for the whole building, correct, Matthew?
Yes.
So right now we have a key fob that gets us into the front door downstairs, the glass doors. I think would be a very security oriented, positive, I guess, to do that with the whole building. You could track it.
Yeah.
Who's coming in and out of the building. If you don't have your key fob, you have a password that will let you in. So this would go on the jail door downstairs, the side door downstairs, front doors up here. I don't know, I don't think we counted on this one. We don't, no one can get in that anyway.
That's just for required fire.
Yeah.
So access control is a really important thing. We have these little digital punch the button numbers in on the admin area doors. Are you counting those as well?
Yes,
Okay.
you can track those.
Perfect.
So, I think it's an upgrade that we would need to get with the 21st century.
Agreed.
Is there a grant for that? Security grant?
I tried to fill it, as part of that camera, the Blue Shield, and it got shot down. So all the cameras do for some reason, but, I don't know, I can look into that. Myrna, I think, has something.
That's where I was
like that.
going.
So I'll check with Patrick.
The other Patrick.
Yeah.
Patrick B.
Right, and then the time clock system. Again, 21st century, we're still on Excel spreadsheets, handing them in. People forget to turn them in when it's pay time. so we're tracking them down. There are programs out there that once you're within so many feet of this building, you can actually get on your phone and do it, but once you leave, you can't. So I can't be at home and clock in. And it tracks it, it's all digitized, and if someone forgets to clock out, the supervisor has to go in and change it. And then it's automatically shot to admin without turning in spreadsheets.
And this is a different system than what Georgia Fox was talking about.
I think she was wanting to use Encode, is that accurate?
Yeah, it was an Encode module,
Yeah.
and it was very expensive.
Yes.
No, it'd be different.
I thought we talked, and they were just, I was approached about conversation about EladTech, which is what we use.
What was it? Somehow connected to a laptop.
Yeah, we have discussed very shortly about what it would take to maybe get on board with his program, if that's even possible, I don't know.
But you're happy with that, right? Yeah, 'cause isn't that my access card?
No, access
No,
control is
no,
separate.
That's not, that's
Yeah.
separate, this is just, this is all of our.
I don't know what the cost would be for either one of those, so maybe it's a 2027 deal. We don't have time to look into it.
Okay.
Okay.
Research. The access points would be easy because ADS could install them, who is our current camera security entry point.
And we're not changing that?
No.
Okay.
So you're looking at a web-based time entry system, correct?
Okay, that makes sense.
I would almost say, can we earmark, say, $10,000 or $15,000 right now? And if we can work through it and we can't get to it till June or September or something next year, as opposed to saying, oh, we gotta wait until the end of December 26th before we go forward with it.
So a fully digital time clock system, I don't think belongs on capital improvements. It's not a thing. It's a cloud subscription. It is a piece of software that we pay. Nothing else that is software based, we pay through capital improvements. I think that's a line item on software for police dispatch.
Like, you're
Which
doing
would
it
go
for
on
just
brand.
police or for all,
So would
I
you,
think you should do it for everybody.
yeah.
so you would break it out among all the departments?
Well,
Does
the
expense-
Well, fire has
the
their
fire
own.
has their own system through EladTech that chief is able to give out how many hours people work.
So
To
to
admin.
so to be clear, our system is it's not just a time clock. The time clock is one piece of EladTech. EladTech is where we have all of our scheduling, all of our messaging, all of our forms. So the time clock is just a piece of that. So.
Yeah, I think research needs to be done in looking at capabilities of EladTech, looking at possibility of integrating other departments, or a third solution that's not EladTech that services some departments. I don't want a disjointed solution. That adds complexity, it adds cost. But I agree that we need to move away from paper time sheets that
Just
get.
go with those really old time clocks that you can like lose a finger in, yeah.
So I think there's a lot more research to be done there, and I think it should be not on capital purchases, but I'd rather have a distinct conversation about it.
Yeah, I think you can probably get some information, so if we get a ballpark on one cloud-based system, maybe we could look at putting something in a line item in the budget for 26, even though we haven't made a clear decision on it, the direction that we want to go.
And do we have to put something separate for the, what do you call the people getting into the building?
Yeah.
Access
My
control.
words are gone.
Access
Is
control.
Yeah.
that,
I would say that would be separate.
that sounds like it might be capital
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's an actual thing.
But I don't know that it belongs in police because there's already a city building asset that's there for like the city hall generator, access control system for public, for the building. Feels like it belongs there, even though it's like doors to specific departments. I think it's more of a building upgrade rather than a single department's upgrade.
Sounds good.
Matthew, do you know the percentage that use tax is? I asked you that before.
You did, I didn't have the answer then, I didn't have the answer now. Okay.
Please.
Since you brought up the cloud-based deal, we have yet to be billed from Flock, which is a good thing, because I told them I didn't want to be billed until all the cameras were up. There's still not the previous board decided to put the $15,000 in the Flock cameras per year on capital purchases.
Yeah, that's not capital purposes. It's a subscription. They own the hardware. It's not our hardware.
So that would need to be added.
And we don't depreciate those things.
I think they used to do that more based on the cost of whatever it could be a widget. It was
If it was over a certain.
If that widget
level.
was, I think it was 5,000, wasn't it? Honestly, no. Maybe now, those definitely weren't.
There's more qualifiers for capital improvements than just a dollar amount.
Yeah, but that's what that was.
I think if it's ours, it needs to be depreciated and it's expensive. I think those are some of the big qualifiers there. And Flock just doesn't hit that.
Yeah. So that 15,000 would probably need to be added to my budget under professional fees.
And because it's recurring.
Yes.
It's a recurring fee.
Yeah.
It's not you purchase the thing and then you're done. And then you have to maintenance it and stuff like that. It is 100% subscription. So yes, let's get that. I'm sorry, I've got a hard cutoff at 4:30. I'm gonna go pick up kids from the bus stop. And I don't want a 5-year-old sitting on the corner of the bus
Absolutely.
stop. So I'm gonna be heading down here at 4:28. Got 10 minutes.
Okay.
Talk
So
about
that,
whatever else
Matthew,
you want.
that probably need to be added to 7,000. Line item 7,000.
It was 15,000.
Yep.
Perfect.
Is there time to discuss the take-home car policy? Or we're gonna have to push that to a future meeting?
I'm fine holding off with that. I was trying to get more information, I haven't got it yet.
Okay.
From Ford, so. And I don't have-
Even the lease buy program for 70.
Yeah,
cars
well, we
was
can talk about
one.
that real quick.
Okay, I do want to talk about that take home car policy. If it feels like we need more information, I think you're gonna come back to us later. Okay, cool. Sorry, I have one more thing before we move on to the next line item. You have your investment line items, investment sheet. City of Pleasant Valley investment accounts as of 2025. Okay, so Matthew has aggregated the numbers from all of our investments, whether it's in a liquid account, whether it's in a CD, or whether it is our cash accounts. So the top section, institution LPL, that's central bank's investment arm. We have some still invested with them. Our 2026 income is listed off to the right. 8,800 times 2 times 3 essentially times 4 and then plus 2,000. That income goes back into the account that it came from. So sewer is going to get the 88 plus everything else. The capital improvements is going to increase by 8,900 as well. MOSIP, we are looking at, this is where our investments per our diversified, like the diverse number of accounts that we have really is. Our liquid series, general operating increase of 2,000, sewer 11,000 slated to come in over 26. Big one is capital improvements, 42,000. All of these interest and dividends and all of that gets rolled back into the accounts from which it came, and it reduces the amount that we have to contribute to those accounts, which is a good thing. These are numbers that we haven't seen. The numbers that we've been seeing are the ones at the bottom: $477, $163, 276, little piddly things. So this is good, and this is a very comprehensive list of what income we're expected to receive over the next year. So liquid series is things that are not in CDs, but they get a daily variable interest rate, essentially. And then the CDs are the ones that we've locked in those percentage points and pursue our Rivers Regional operating. This is all good, positive news. Any questions on the investment proceeds? Cool. We're going to talk about the take-home car policy later. Can you give us a quick rundown on these lease program?
Yeah, so this lease program, we've talked before, it's a 5-year lease program through Ford. My plan was, at year 1, is to buy 7 cars, okay, and keep them for 7 years. This is fully staffed. So every year we used to buy a car, which came out to about, well, I think it was on our capital purchases, it was about $60,000. Probably be a little more than that, more like $62,000 to $64,000, because the equipment, once they change body styles, doesn't transfer over to the new car. Okay, so if you add all these numbers up, so the payment amount is $76,000 and some change, times 5, and then you add, I just guesstimated about $14,000 per car for equipment. That doesn't include in-car cameras or radios, which we currently have, and we can get most of that stuff on grants. And add those together, the total, oh, here it is. I meant to get this to you. That makes it a lot easier.
Thank you so much.
So this $49,441 is just the lease for one vehicle, just a car. Okay.
That make it a lot easier. A lot better visual. So if you look, the third row financing option, that payment for 5 years is $76,048. If you multiply that out times 5 years, that comes to $380,000 and some change. Okay, so this is the bad thing about the lease option. Obviously, you're going to pay interest, and so you're paying about $50,000 worth of interest over 5 years.
But you're trying to pay that like annually or quarterly?
You would pay it annually.
Is there an option to do it differently?
You would pay quarterly.
But it becomes not a lease if you don't have.
It's a lease option that's listed on there. That's the information I was trying to get from Florida earlier.
Yeah.
But I never got a call back. But, so if you broke down that $380,000 over 5 years, you're paying $76,000 and 48 cents. Okay, so that first year is going to be the big year that you're going to spend on. You're paying for the first year of the lease, plus you're paying for all of the equipment for the 7 cars. So that's $174,000. But here's where it gets better. So if our plan was to buy a car every year, it's going to cost you $64,000 to $65,000 a year. If you break down this lease, the cost is $68,320. So it's roughly $3,000 more than what you would be spending to buy a car every year. Plus you implement the take-home car policy, which is a big benefit in recruiting and retention tool for the police department.
Would we need to do the lease option?
You wouldn't have
a
to.
take-home car policy, or could we just stick with buying a new car each year?
Logistically, it would be a nightmare.
Okay, that's the question. So is it just because trying to find a car, buy one? And
because you would never know. Trying to figure out the easiest way to explain this. You know how to budget every year if you do a lease program. every 7 years, you're gonna be buying 7 cars. And those extra cars that we have, would be like for admin cars for like myself, Kramer, and, hopefully, Sergeant Heckman, who's hopefully gonna become our full-time detective if we ever get staffed. Another thing is, that Blue Shield grant, I think, is going to be available every year. That's $50,000 worth of equipment I can buy, so I can knock $50,000 off of this and pay for a lot of the equipment. So that first year expense would go down tremendously, I think.
So what if we still structure it with 7 vehicles all at once, but do a purchase option rather than a lease option?
I can get those numbers.
Yeah.
But it's still gonna be, well, you take $50,000 times 7,
So if we,
then the equipment, and that's all in 1 year.
Yeah, but it saves, like, this is Patrick speaking for himself and himself only. I don't know that I need to preface what I say with that because I always do that. Anyway, saving on interest, I think is like, that's just money that just goes away. It's not a tangible thing. But I think there's a churn with doing it every year. And the price of vehicles changes over time. So the cost you pay 1 year might increase by $5,000, $10,000 the next year. It might drop $10,000 the next year.
No.
It generally doesn't drop.
No.
So that's my point. Like, these costs generally just go up. If you lock in your 7 vehicles on year 1, yes, it's a large single-time purchase, but you're not making vehicle purchases for 7 years.
Yeah.
That allows you to invest in your capital purchases plan for the next purchase, but you've locked in the cost for right now and save on the interest. I'd just like to be able to compare that versus a lease option.
I'm gonna guess the car itself would be the same cost as on a piece of paper. But, when you say,
Okay.
I can answer that.
Yeah, too.
This is my time. I'm looking at the bus. It's just getting off of 4:35 right now, so I gotta go. Any other topics? Any other last minute? Awesome. Let's adjourn I move for closing. I move to close. So adjourn. That's the magic word.
Yes. Gallagher,
Yes.
Halligan,
Yes.
Kobe,
Yes.
Scarborough,
Yes.
Olson.
Yes. She said no, just for Pat.
No.
No. I'll stay here all day.
Thank you guys so much. It was a great
Yeah,
meeting.
you do.
I am walking out of City Hall right now. I'm driving up there. See you guys.
Bye.
Take care.
Smoke started coming out.
Roasted up in here.
I know.